Welcome back. In this video, we will be discussing and implementing the logic behind dropping items out of your inventory. This tutorial is the second part of my multi-part series, wherein I teach you how to make a clean and scalable inventory system for your game from scratch. In the first part, we wrote the core architecture and handled the pickup logic of our inventory system. So if you are new to the series, I would recommend you to go watch that video first. Anyway, let us now discuss the logic behind removing items from the inventory and then implement its code. We initiate our dropping logic whenever the player gives the inventory the command to drop an item at, let's say, slot index I. In that case, the inventory does two things. Firstly, it returns to the player the item data and the quantity of that said item data stored within that particular slot. Then it deletes the data stored at that particular index for itself. Next, after receiving the item data and the quantity, the player will then instantiate a world item node out of that same data, thus completing the flow of dropping an item out of the inventory. And as an extension, if you guys remember, in the previous part I said that if we fail to add a set remaining number of items into our inventory, we will drop them. So I think now the logic to drop them should be pretty clear to you. From our initial pickup item loop, we will have the inventory return to the player the remaining number of items that it was not able to add. In that case, the player will then instantiate back a new instance of a world item using this remaining number of quantity and the item data that it picked up initially. And yeah, that is it for the logic. Pretty simple, right? Now let us code it out. First, let us complete our pickup item code from the previous part. Firstly, in our inventory add item function, we change its return type from void to int, and after the end of the loop, we return to the player the remaining number of items that we were not able to add. Back at the player side, we first register these remaining number of items, and if they are greater than 0, we go to our player's hand and run its drop item function by giving it the item data and this remaining number of quantity. To implement the drop item code inside player's hand, we first add in the reference to our world item scene, and upon receiving the drop item request, we instantiate it inside our world tree right in front of the player. With this, the pickup item logic is now complete. Now let us code out the remaining drop item logic, which was the actual point of this tutorial. Back in our inventory, we make the remove item at slot function. This will be called by the player whenever they want to drop an item. In this, we basically just get the slot index, delete that particular slot, and send the inventory change signal to our UI to update itself. For the purposes of this demo, for the player to get this particular slot index I will make a helper function in the inventory that will return to the player the first item among the inventory slots that is not empty. This way, the player will always be removing data from that first slot that contains an item. Of course, it is only for the demo. You can change this slot picking logic as per your game, and you will learn this logic later down the line in the remaining parts of this tutorial. Anyway, finally, back to the player. We run the drop item function whenever the player taps the drop item key. Inside this, we get the slot that we want to remove the data from, and just remove it by calling the remove item at slot function from the inventory, and then instantiating the corresponding world item by calling our hand's drop item logic. And yeah, with this we are done. We have now successfully implemented the drop item logic of the inventory system as well. Hope you guys like this part. In the next part, we will talk about mainly of how we can use our mouse to control items in and out of our inventory. So stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment to boost the algorithm. And I will catch you guys the next time. Okay, bye.